Hit subscribe on the good old YouTube machine. Monty the Monty Show. Monty the Monty Show. Who won free agency? Well, if you listen to most of the pundits, day one went to the New England Patriots, and justifiably so. Really well done defensively, offensively. They did pretty much everything that you wanted them to do. But my question is, won't this free agent period? Oh, I'm sorry. Are
Yes, I'm struggling today. Yes, I am.
Am I boring you?
No, daylight savings is kicking my ass.
Okay, that was a good yawn you had there. Anyway, the point is, won't this free agent period by the New England Patriots be defined by what they do at quarterback and whether or not they bring back a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo? You know that Cam Newton's on a one-year deal that isn't, ironclad, but they get Cam back on a one-year deal, but he's not your long-term commit. So, after day one of free agency, do you like where the Patriots are at?
Yeah, I like where the Patriots are at. I feel like they've added some offensive and defensive tools. I feel like they've been aggressive. I think, it would be really easy for the Patriots to just kind of hang out in mediocrity after, again, I know I keep bringing up the Brady-Belichick era, but that's a long time that they had those two together and they were in that system. And so, being that they spent, 12 to 14 years in that setup, I could kind of understand if they had a 5-year window where they were bad. But then I start thinking about it, and I'm left to say, Bill Belichick is not going to do that. Bill Belichick is not going to settle for mediocrity. I mean, last year they weren't a great team, and now this year they're going to be better. I think Cam Newton is an okay fit. I think that I like the fact that deal is, like you said, is not ironclad. It's not anything that is going to hold them down. But I think the biggest question that they need to figure out is what their future at quarterback looks like. What are they going to do to address that? Is it going to be, are you going to try and make a move in the draft? Are you just going to make a trade? That's what they have to figure out. And once that happens, then we will know how serious they are about winning right now.
Yeah, and I think what you did offensively really tells you that you're going to throw the football around. I mean, when you go and get a guy like Jonnu Smith for $10 million a year, you go and get Nelson Agholor who can take the top off any defense. The guy can really run, and Kendrick Bourne I thought was a really nice pickup. You have recovered from the losses you suffered when, look at Rob Gronkowski retiring. Like Jonnu Smith is right now today a better tight end than Rob Gronkowski is. The guy's versatile. He's able to block. He can play inside. He certainly is a prolific pass catcher. It is a real loss for the Titans. But if you look on the defensive side, Matthew Judon is a really nice pickup. He brings in elite talent to that unit that's already got guys like Chase Winovich and Dante Hightower. They're going to be a real problem up front now. So the front seven in New England got better. Obviously you're going to have to figure out what to do on that offensive line, as we're going to talk about in a minute. They lost some guys off that offensive line. So that'll be interesting. But, my guess is that, and my opinion really hasn't changed, but my guess is that they wind up with Zach Wilson in New England. I think that is the place that makes the most sense. Now, obviously, to do that, they're going to have to go and make some moves, and they're really going to have to maneuver. But I think if you were going to trade for Jimmy G, I don't know that you'd be spending this money. I don't know that you would be spending this kind of money. You have a ton of it, don't get me wrong. The Patriots went aggressive with offensive weapons. You can't tell me they're doing that for Cam Newton. I don't think you go and get the caliber of player that they went and got if you're doing that for Cam Newton.
No, it feels like Cam Newton's deal is just sort of like a transition deal for the organization. It's like, okay, cool, we needed a guy for this year. Cam's all about hey, prove the haters wrong. He's all on that mantra. Okay, great. Give us a year. Give us your best. Awesome. And then we're going to cut your ass. We're going to get somebody in the draft, and we're going to move on with our life. That's essentially what this is. And I think if you're Cam Newton, if you have any other expectation than that, you're a fool. I think you need to understand that the organization and really the league does not believe that you're a prolific quarterback anymore. They believe that you're a guy that can start and get the job done, but you're not, anything to really be scared of in terms of NFL defenses looking at you and scheming. So, yeah, I think he's a Band-Aid, and I would love to see, honestly, for Zach Wilson's sake, I would love to see him go to New England. I really would. I would love to see him get into a system in the league that really will develop him and take him to the next level. I feel like so often we see these guys come into the draft and they go to like the Dolphins or they go to, it's like Trevor Lawrence to the Jags. Like, how's that going to work out? Is that going to work, or is that going to, is that going to slow his development down? I don't know. But for Zach, I think going to the Patriots would be an awesome thing.
Well, and I think the other thing that you have to consider here is very clearly, they paid Cam Newton backup money.
Yeah.
They didn't pay him number one money, and if he starts every game, I think his total max comp would be like $6.6 million. His base is $5 million. They paid him backup money, and I think what that tells you is they're in the market for a number one. Now, it doesn't feel to me like they're making moves to support, the acquisition of a Jimmy Garoppolo. Are the Raiders going to wind up moving on from Derek Carr? It doesn't feel like that at this point. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
If you look at the guys that they realistically could go and get, the quarterbacks that are available, Sam Darnold's not going to be traded in the division. That's not going to happen. Not from the Jets, certainly to the Patriots. You can forget about that.
Yeah.
They're going to have to move up from the 15th spot in the NFL draft to address this quarterback situation, and it makes total sense that they would do that. They would move up. They would, in my opinion, draft Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And I think you let him sit for a year behind a Cam Newton. And, Cam, if nothing else left in the tank, is a tremendous mentor.
Well, and I think if you look at what Kyler Murray's path was with the Cardinals when he first came into the league, I think Zach Wilson is on that same kind of trajectory. The advantage is yes, he will get, if they draft him, if they wind up with him, he'll get to sit behind Cam Newton. And I think, when I look at Kyler Murray and I look at his development, there have been some struggles. There have been some definite moments where you're like, yeah, this guy's a rookie for sure. And I think if you're the Patriots, because of how much you've won, there is an inherent expectation that you will continue to win, even without Tom Brady there. And so for Zach Wilson, it's not going to be good enough to just come in and make all those mistakes and be a rookie. So, yeah, I think it would be a very savvy play by them to draft him now. If they're not able to get him, then I think all bets are off. That's when your ability as a GM to go and make something happen is really measured. So if they can get him, great. If they don't, then I don't know what the next move would be. I really don't. That feels like a thing where he's going to have to make a bunch of calls and figure something out, because I don't think that there's like an obvious answer after that.
Yeah, and I think also, by the way, if we're talking winners and losers, Cam Newton's a real winner here.
Yeah.
When you look at, let's say he does start for this team, he's got legitimate weapons. I look at, the way that they're able to use Onwenu now in Isaiah Wynn. Even though they lost Thune, I think that's a huge loss for them. There's no doubt about that. He goes to Kansas City, which, by the way, I think massively upgraded their offensive line. Patrick Mahomes restructured his deal, so I think the Chiefs are absolutely a winner.
Yes,
on day one of free agency. But everything says the Patriots had the best day of anybody in the NFL. The issue is, what do you do at quarterback?
Yeah,
that's going to absolutely define whether they win or lose in free agency. And I look at. I look at guys like, Henry Anderson, great pickup for the Patriots. I look at some of the other names that they brought in, and I'm just like, I'm shocked that the New England Patriots, they clearly had these guys sitting there waiting for them.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody that they signed knew that Judon's a great pickup for them.
Yeah, to me, the thing that's fascinating is that the Patriots have never been an organization that has been like, they've been known to go out and make a splash signing to land that one extra guy that they need, whether it was Chad Ochocinco, Antonio Brown, any of the names you want to look at, right? But with this offseason so far, what's been so surprising to me is just how aggressive they have been in totality with offense. Bill Belichick is a defensive-minded head coach, yet he's going out and being aggressive with offense. And so the reason that I say I do think that they will make that strong run to Zach Wilson is because if you're not going to do that, why are you signing all this offensive talent? If you were just going to chill in the draft, Why would you not load up that defense, have an elite defense, and just kind of get done what you can get done on offense? It just very much feels like they're ramping up to get, whether that's going to be Cam playing 6-7 games and then Zach gets injected in the middle of the season or whatever. It just feels like that's what we're building to. And the other thing that I would say when it comes to the Patriots is they may have won yesterday, they may have had the best day, but that does not mean that they are now the best team by any stretch of the imagination. I feel I feel like that those signings kind of brought them to the starting line, whereas the Chiefs signings are solidifying them again, because that ass whooping that the Chiefs offensive line was handed in the Super Bowl is not going to happen again. And I'm really glad to see that the Chiefs are addressing it.
Well, I look at where if we talk about the draft and how it's going to impact this, I look at the fact that the Jets have that number 2 pick, and I think, just part of my mind says that if you were going to trade Sam Darnold, you would have done that already,
right?
And they haven't, and by all accounts, they haven't been close.
Because isn't the draft the draft's coming?
It's like 45 days away.
Yeah, it's like it's not that far.
And a half. Yeah, I mean, so it feels like you would have made that deal already.
Yeah.
Because the trades at the draft absolutely impact what teams are doing in free agency. And when you have so many teams that need quarterbacks, I think you would have gotten the deal that you wanted.
Yeah.
So I look at the Jets, and my gut says they're going to stick with Sam Darnold. I also think that means they're going to trade out of number 2. Now, does that mean that the Patriots are going to bump from 15 to 2? That's a hell of a jump, right? I mean, that's a hell of a jump. I don't know that happens, but the Jets have to figure out what they can do. Kramnani Booby Tits. I don't know how to say your name, so I apologize.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Absolutely. Says Trevor Lawrence is a bust waiting to happen.
Oh, boy.
There's no way Urban Meyer's developing that guy. And how long are you going to drink from the teat of Zach Wilson? No, I'm not going to talk about blue Kool-Aid from his teat. That just feels inappropriate. Kamrani.
Okay, is this a Utah fan?
I'm not sure. I've never heard of Kamrani before.
Okay.
So, hey, man.
Welcome to the show.
But you clearly listen to the show because I do drink. If I'm drinking blue Kool-Aid from Zach Wilson's teat, it feels a little abhorrent, and I probably should be in rehab for that. But the point is, I think Zach Wilson's fantastic.
Dude, I think saying Trevor Lawrence is going to be a bust is a pretty strong take, dude.
I think there's some. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust. You can never live up to this kind of hype. It's why so many people comparing Zach Wilson to. I hear a lot of people say that he's like a Kansas City quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Like, why are you already comparing Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes? Why are you already comparing Zach Wilson, who hasn't taken an NFL snap yet, to guys of that caliber? Why are you comparing Trevor Lawrence to Peyton Manning? Let the guy get into training camp first.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's so much change in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of risk there, but anyway, here nor there. I could see the Dolphins, bumping up to 4, 5, 6.
But they're screwed anyway.
Or bumping down to 4, 5, 6.
Dude, the decision to go ahead and draft Tua it's just a dumb decision. And now you're gonna live with the repercussions of that decision, because now you can't operate from a position of strength at the quarterback position. And I would tell you that as much as teams like the Bears and all these other teams we talk about who have quarterback issues are not in a great spot, the Dolphins are in a worse spot because they believe the guy that they have is somehow going to take them to the playoffs, and I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
Yeah.
And if he gets hurt halfway through the season and you're already on your backup, hey, guess what? Fitzmagic isn't sitting on the bench anymore for you. He signed somewhere else. So I'm not a big fan of what the Dolphins are doing. That said, I do think that Brian Flores is doing a hell of a job with what he has to work with. So,
I think, and the other team here, and I just would not be so dead set on the idea that the 49ers are married to Jimmy Garoppolo. And again, I think he's another guy where you're like, well, wouldn't they have traded him already? Well, I don't know. But what I do know is that I think the 49ers are going to be incredibly aggressive in the draft.
Yeah.
I think they're going to wind up trading up into the top 5 to get a quarterback. And I think there's a lot of people who believe that they're going to pick 2 or 3. And if that happens, I think it's Fields from Ohio State or Wilson from BYU.
Well, I think the sad part is that they were right in that mix, the Deshaun Watson mix, and now that whole conversation is kind of halted, essentially. And I don't know what's going to happen to Deshaun, but I do know that Jimmy G is not a winner. And I think that the 49ers understand that. I think that they understand that they haven't had a quarterback who really has taken them anywhere since Colin Kaepernick. And as much as people hate Colin Kaepernick, the one thing you can say is he took them to a Super Bowl, man. And he literally was one throw away from winning the Super Bowl. So that was really the last time that they had somebody who, could take them where they wanted to go. And right now, you've got all this phenomenal talent on the roster, and you don't have a guy to feed him, and that's really disappointing.
Yeah, and if you look at how thirsty teams are for quarterbacks right now, I think the top 5 could change dramatically. I mean, it's just me. Like, I think there's a real chance that the top 5 could. I mean, Jacksonville's going to pick at number 1.
Yeah.
I don't think the Jets pick at number 2. I don't think that the Dolphins pick at number 3. I could absolutely see Atlanta Falcons are 4.
Yeah.
I mean, if Penny Sewell's there at number 4, I don't know how you pass on that. I mean, the Falcons desperately need offensive line.
The Falcons are another organization that's got an aging quarterback, and they don't have a solution. You know? And I love Matt Ryan. I'm a big Matt Ryan guy. I think he's done some awesome things, including choking in the Super Bowl. I get it. But, listen, he's done some great things as a quarterback, and I do think that
it's done.
Oh, he's done for sure. But my point is that I think the only value that he would have left, he strikes me as the guy that would enjoy the process of teaching his replacement. I think he would enjoy that.
Matt Ryan would enjoy the process of trying to win a Super Bowl. And I have said all along from this, and actually it's been 2 years, since Tom Brady left New England, for sure, they should have gone and gotten Matt Ryan.
Yeah, wow.
And built a bridge to the future with Matt Ryan because they'd have been able to compete. And I think he's a guy that has tremendous value around the league. But, I look at what William is saying that you guys are idiots. Okay, well, I
appreciate that, William. Thank you.
Nobody's trading a quarterback 6 weeks away from the NFL draft. You wait until draft eve. Nobody's waiting until draft eve.
If you think
nobody's waiting till draft
listen,
eve.
Dude, if you think that phone calls aren't happening right now today about quarterback trades, you're up in the night, dude. You don't roll up to draft night and not have any plans in place. If you think that teams are legitimately not making phone calls and they're going to the draft,
yes,
saying, okay, here's big board A, here's big board B, and here's big board C. And based on what happens, we're just going to make some phone calls and make something happen. That is not how the league works. It's not how it works, man. It's not. Yeah. You don't just roll up to draft night unprepared.
By the way, the queen of vinyl plank, luxury vinyl plank, has entered the room. My wife literally just walked into our broadcast facility, which is otherwise known as my basement.
Palatial Studios.
Yeah, dancing. Dude, I got 5 hours of sleep last night. I don't want you dancing in front of me. She's got a great rack, though. Anyway, the point is, listen. The point is, I'm
cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah, see, I am kidding, but I'm not. She does, but I can't really talk. See, what I meant.
Let's get back to William calling us idiots.
Okay, idiots. Eric and Raleigh says a pundit on ESPN's Get Up show just said that Zach Wilson's NFL comps are Aaron Rodgers and Patrick. Stop. That might be true. There's no win in comparing a guy that is fresh out of BYU to Aaron Rodgers. You're asking him to fail.
This is what I love about the media, okay, in sports particularly. When we were in the heat of what Zach Wilson's BYU offense was doing, what was everybody saying? Well, this is nothing, right? He's playing a weak-ass schedule. This is not legit. They don't deserve a bowl game. But then we get to draft, right? And I don't know which one of those guys. It was just Ryan Clark and Grigney and all the usual suspects.
Yeah, but you were ripping Ryan Clark today because he has on a T-shirt instead of a collared shirt.
Grow up, bro. Put a collared shirt on. Come on, dude. I know you got better. I watch you every day. I know you got better. Why are you wearing a striped T-shirt on ESPN?
You want to talk about a bro with a
I love the guy.
Shoe collection? My God.
Bro, I love Ryan Clark and his takes, but come on, man. Put something on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Point is that I just think that it's funny how when BYU last season was crushing and everything was awesome and you're playing for an 11th win, that we want to sit here and say, oh, well, he's playing a weak schedule. But then we get to draft, right? We get to, hey, things are getting legit. And, bro, what are you doing?
Throwing things.
When we get to the draft, everyone's like, oh, well, he's now Aaron Rodgers and everything's amazing. So I don't know, man. It just is, it just is, yeah, it's a double-sided thing.
I should stop. My wife.
Yeah, we're like trying to do a show over here, We're trying to like have a conversation.
What? I like playing catch. My wife is good with balls. What do
Well,
you
I
want?
know that you guys aren't going to sit next to each other all day, so it's fine.
Wow. Somebody's a little salty. At the end of the day, where do you think Zach Wilson?
I think he
ends
goes 2 overall. I think he goes number 2 overall.
Whoever has that pick.
And I think that it all depends on who's got the cojones to trade up and make it happen. That's what I think it is.
I think it's Jets or Patriots.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's Jets or Patriots. What about the Chargers?
Wow.
I think that, obviously with what they did in free agency, I am pleasantly delighted because we talk about it on this show all the time that when you look at the way that teams move and you look at the way that teams build, I am frequently shocked that teams will draft big time quarterbacks and then they just don't do anything to support them.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised to see that the Los Angeles Chargers actually went out and built themselves an offensive line to support Justin Herbert. I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, well, I think it's funny that, so many times, again, I know I keep bringing up Kyler Murray, but this has been the Cardinals' issue for, a decade now, probably. I don't even think that's exaggerating, like legit. It's been a decade since they've had anything to write home about on the offensive line. And so, the reason I bring that up is because you draft Kyler Murray, and really, you draft Josh Rosen, and he's got no protection and gets absolutely lit. And then you go and you draft Kyler Murray and you trade Josh Rosen. Kyler Murray is way more mobile, so it kind of mitigates the offensive line issues. But, in that same aspect, it's like, hey, if he had an offensive line, how much better would you be? And so I look at Justin Herbert, I look at what he did last year, and we've all seen it now. And this is a guy who some people are saying is going to be an MVP candidate this year, which I don't even think is that much of an exaggeration. So if you gave him something to work with, on the offensive line, I think it's going to be awesome. And I think we see it so many times around the league, whether it's the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes and him not having any protection or otherwise. You need an offensive line to make it happen.
Corey Linsley is an all-pro. I think he's the best center in football.
He's a badass, dude.
I think this is absolutely a gangster move on two fronts. One, I say to myself, what the hell are the Packers doing?
Yeah.
Because Aaron Rodgers, we joked about it on the show yesterday. Aaron Rodgers hasn't won.
Yeah.
And now you just gave away a real critical piece to his offensive line. And are you selling that Aaron Rodgers is a guy that you believe, can do it on his own?
I just don't believe.
I'm shocked by this.
I don't believe that he'll win and before it's done. I don't believe that he will win, and the reason I say that is because you've now got a Bucs team that's got a bunch of experience as a group together under their belt. Obviously, yes, they went ahead and won, but now they've been through the process together one time, which is a huge deal. Now they know what to expect from Tom Brady. Now they know how to bounce back from adversity, and now they're going to be better. And so not only do you have the Bucs, the Chiefs are going to be better. The Chargers are going to be a problem. And I just think overall that the Packers are an organization that really gets a lot more credit than I think that they deserve. I think Aaron Rodgers is a hell of a player. He's clearly had an amazing career, but let's not sit here and say that they should somehow be favorited or any of that. They should not be favorited. There are teams that are significantly better than them, and I think expecting Aaron Rodgers to somehow just pull a rabbit out of his hat and make things happen and take you to the Super Bowl is unrealistic, especially with how athletic defenses are now. I think it's unrealistic.
Yeah, and if you look at what the Chargers are doing, don't forget that they have Brian Bulaga as well.
Yeah.
Also a Packer alum.
Yeah.
I mean, you have. I mean, you did a really nice job here because if you look at what Linsley brings to the Chargers, what he gives them instantly is pre-snap credibility. Their ability to protect the A gap just went up exponentially. It was a real problem that they were having protecting Justin Herbert through the A gap. A lot of twists and stunts were getting home there. I think Linsley instantly solves that, but he brings you a level of calm when you are reading defenses. I think what he's seen and what his experience tells Justin Herbert will make him a more confident passer. It will help him believe a lot more in what his eyes are seeing. And to me, that makes Justin Herbert an even better quarterback. And I think those pre-snap reads are always the most difficult thing for young quarterbacks to progress through. And I think Corey Linsley makes that process a lot easier for Justin Herbert. So I look at what this signing does. I think it's about a lot more than just the cohesiveness on the offensive line. It's confidence for the quarterback. It's confidence for the running backs. It makes your tackles better when your center is making, all pro caliber pre-snap reads. I think this is a huge signing, and I just don't know. I don't know what else they do here. Alejandro Villanueva is certainly a name that the Chargers have been interested in. Eric Fisher's a name that the Chargers have been linked to on the left side of that line. Now he's got a little bit of an injury history coming out of Kansas City, so it'll be interesting to see what he commands. He's not done playing.
Yeah.
And if I'm the Chargers, Jake, that's a guy that I'm willing to take a flyer on.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And I think if you're the Chargers, your goal should be to compete for that division and obviously go to the playoffs. Last year, you were pushing to go to the playoffs and you just fell a little short because of personnel issues. And so now it feels like you're taking care of those, and you should be in a really good spot. And they will be an exciting team this year. It's time.
A deep sigh, as though my soul has leaked out my rectum, because that means it's time to talk about the Chicago Bears.
All right, let's move on. All right. Good talk. Really good talk.
Yeah. Free agency, no, nothing. Well, I'm about to announce that they got Allen Robinson on a 5-year deal, max contract, right?
It's not fucking real, right? Right.
No. They haven't even called his agent. Well, they made the Deshaun Watson trade, right? No. They've been calling around the league, and they've had productive conversations, and they're really close to making a trade, right?
Hello, we are not available now.
No. But they are linked to a big-name quarterback from Dallas who's a free agent and has a fire crotch. His name is Andy Dalton.
That's what fucking ticks me the fuck off!
So wait, let me see if I can process this kind of bullshit. So let me see if I get this right. You're trying to trade for Russell Wilson, who the Seahawks essentially, is the word pegging?
Could be.
Who the Seahawks, now we've gone way too far. It's my show. I can say what I want. The Seahawks essentially have fractured their relationship with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Because did the Seahawks go out and get Corey Linsley, right? You're
Nope.
trying to fix what's going on with Russell Wilson.
You're the quarterback that's been hit the most in the league over the last 3 years.
So you went out and you got the best available offensive lineman, right? That's what your plan was, to save the Russell Wilson relationship.
So I said, yeah.
No, they didn't go out and really acquire anybody that would make Russell Wilson want to stay in Seattle. So, of course, the Bears got uber aggressive and said, okay, well, they pegged him in free agency, and there was not even a reach around from the Seahawks on Russell Wilson. So,
The motherfucking, downtown,
Are you okay?
anyway, the point is, they did nothing to try and keep Russell Wilson in Seattle.
Uh-huh.
So the Bears, of course, said, well, this is our opportunity. Let's go get Andy Dalton.
Excellent strategy, sir.
Andy fucking Dalton. Andy Dalton. Rex Grossman doesn't want to be a Bear anymore.
Okay.
What? Mike Tomczak is too old at this point. But what? Bob Avellini? Jim McMahon does have some brain cells left, not many, but Are you Andy fucking Dalton? Are you serious? This is your answer. Andy Dalton sucks, bro.
That's quite enough. We get it.
He sucks. But I'm serious.
Dude.
Keep Maserati Mitch. Look, listen, Linda, listen. Andy Dalton sucks, bro. He's terrible.
I want it.
He's got red hair. With all due respect to every redhead out there. I mean, he's a quarterback and he's got redhead. What?
Where's the Italian?
Where's Jimmy Garoppolo? Right? Andy Dalton's got freckles. Nobody with freckles is good for anything. What are we doing?
Yeah.
That was probably too much of a reach. But my point is, Andy Dalton sucks. And the Bears are like, oh, yeah, we're going to get Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson wants to come to Chicago. We'll take him to Superdog. Oh, wait, Andy Dalton's available? Yeah, fuck those guys. Andy Dalton it is.
And he will every single time.
If you're going to get Andy Dalton to be your quarterback, why are you not just burning the whole place down like there's a spider in the bathroom? Just torch the entire house. You kept Matt Nagy and Dickhead Pace to go sign Andy Dalton?
Hey, look here, man.
Okay, so wait, let me get this right. These motherfuckers, hey man, you have to win or I'm firing you. Oh, well then I better go get Andy Dalton. Really?
It's a joke, dude.
Really?
It is embarrassing.
How? If you sign Andy Dalton, you pretty much have kissed off Allen Robinson anyway. But if you bring in Andy Dalton, just let Allen Robinson go. Because the guy, you're going to get him killed.
Yeah.
He has rights. Let the guy live.
Yeah.
Right? I'm over it.
This is what happens when you have bad executives, man.
Good morning, Gabe Ledley. He says, get up, talking heads just said my comp is all half-eaten Baconator. That's exactly right.
Well, by the way, if you're watching Get Up, GCU's banner is on Get Up right now. Just saying.
GCU versus Iowa.
Just saying.
Well, that was fun while it
Just
lasted.
saying.
I don't know if you know this, Gabe. Iowa's very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're much better than Andy Dalton,
right,
even at basketball and football. I'm over it. I'm really upset about this.
I feel like the problem is that the Bears are going to screw up this whole thing, and they're not going to get Russ, they're not going to get Deshaun, they're going to get Andy, and then they're all going to get fired, and then it's going to be 5 years before
why wouldn't
anything.
You fire them if
that's
it's fucking Dalton, just
because
fire them
it's
now.
ownership. They're terrible. They're awful. They don't know what they're doing.
You kept Ryan Pace as your general manager to go sign Andy Dalton. My mom could sign Andy Dalton, and yeah.
Shame.
Seriously, my mom could call Andy Dalton and be like, hey, I just got hired by the Bears to hire quarterbacks because even I'm better than Ryan Pace. Do you want to come be a Bear? He'd be like, fuck yeah, nobody else wants me. Let's do this thing.
I want it.
Right? Oh, hey, by the way, oh, hey, never mind. Hey, well, thank God, though, that fucking Nick Foles will be our backup. It'll be Andy Dalton number 1 and then Nick Foles number 2. And, again, my mom, not only the general manager, she'll be the third string quarterback, too.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Fuck. I'm so upset about it. I saw that yesterday.
Oh.
I saw that yesterday. Not only was I exhausted from daylight savings time, which is some bullshit, but not only that, but it just yesterday was just that day.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm fried.
Yeah, totally. And now you're going to tear up my house today, and the Bears are going to sign Andy Dalton.
I didn't sleep for the past 2 nights because of this. I was that upset.
Well, and you can't even tell me that you're the Patriots and you're signing Cam as a stopgap.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick ain't walking through that door anytime soon.
Yeah, I like football season and all the things that go with it.
Yeah, and then there's Ryan Pace who'd rather be fishing or whatever. God, they suck so
Let's
bad.
go somewhere.
Right? They're terrible. The Bears are awful. And it's really, like, if you'd have gone and traded for Russell Wilson, I would have been like, yes. Yes. I'm about this. Right?
Like, when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
You would have had his jersey on his small in about 3 days.
Yeah, I'd have got a Russell Wilson fathead. And I'd have been thinking about Sierra while naked in my new shower. Like, it would have been amazing. Andy Dalton doesn't have a wife. Women don't like redheads. Like, what are we doing with this guy? In all seriousness, what's the rationale behind Andy Dalton?
I don't know.
Like, just make me the case.
I think the rationale that what they're doing, the only thing that I could conceivably think is that, hey, he was a great backup in Dallas. We're going to sign him as our backup, and then we're going to go get Russ.
But he wasn't a great backup in Dallas.
Well, I'm just telling you that.
Dak's fucking leg fell off and the season ended. Right? Like,
Until one of us passes the fuck out.
When Jerry Jones thinks you're not good enough to be a quarterback on his team, and he's bad. And if you're signing Jerry Jones, by the way, tell me the last major Dallas Cowboy free agent who went on to be, like, amazing.
Tony Romo in the booth.
Yeah. Amazing. Right? Des Bryant? Deion Sanders? Your mom?
You are what you are.
Yeah. If you're in Dallas and they let you go, you suck. Andy Dalton sucks. Thus, he's the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Because I'm telling you, exactly. The Bears don't value the quarterback position.
The Bears don't value winning.
It's like Kyle Whittingham's the head coach of the Chicago Bears. We're never going to have a passing game in Chicago with the Bears. So
you don't have a passing game. You don't have a running game. You don't have a damn defense. I mean, they're going to get rid of Kyle Fuller. Yeah. Like, it's over, bro. It's over.
Well, if they trade Kyle Fuller for Zach Wilson, I'm on board. But if you trade Kyle Fuller, you better be getting a franchise quarterback, whether that's Zach Wilson or Russ or whoever, bro. It better be somebody who is legit. I wish Witt was our head coach.
Hey, listen, I'd even be fine with it if they could at least run the football effectively. Like, hey, turn it around, hand it off, and let the offensive line do its thing. Okay, cool.
Look
but
at
you
all
can't
the backs.
do that, dude.
Look at Matt Forte left. Like, all the best backs wind up leaving Chicago because anyway. All right. Cool, bro. Can we talk about Tinder before the show ends? Because in 27 minutes, I'm going to lose another shoe auction in the Sneakers app. And also, the contractors are going to be here to ruin my life.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad to see that you have a good attitude today.
It's Andy fucking Dalton. Like, that's stuck in my craw. Like,
I personally would like an apology.
It's Andy Dalton. The Bears are one of those things where I will buy Chicago Bears season tickets and live in Salt Lake City. I love them that much. But fuck you with Andy Dalton. Like, I'm serious. Like, I will not. Me and Mrs. Monty, I drug her ass to St. Louis to go see the Bears and the Blackhawks on back-to-back nights.
Right.
Several years ago. Like, I love the Chicago Bears.
Right.
But this is embarrassing now.
Yeah.
Like, Andy Dalton?
And the thing is I mean, at least Chicago has some media that'll hold the organization accountable on some level, but it just feels like it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just they're not even expected to win anything.